Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can probably tell, we're back for part 2 of the short book kind of series that I'm trying to do on this channel. If you haven't seen part 1 has me talking about 6 short story / short books that I wanted to share with you guys that I really enjoyed, that I would absolutely recommend that you read. So if you haven't seen that yet, do watch that as well. But today I will be talking about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books that I really want to read at some point, hopefully in the summer, if not by the end of the year. So without kind of babbling on for too long, let's just get into it. So first we have Pizza Girl by Jean Kyung Fraser. Page count of this is 189. So let's read the blurb. 18 years old, pregnant and working as a pizza delivery girl, a dysfunctional heroine is deeply lost and in complete denial about it all. Her world is further upended when she becomes obsessed with Jenny, a stay-at-home mum new to the neighborhood. As one woman looks towards motherhood and the other toward middle age, the relationship between the two begins to blur in strange and ultimately heartbreaking ways. That just sounds great. I love like a contemporary fiction, especially when it's like short. What really also caught my eye with this is that Cosmopolitan blurbed it, you know what I mean, where they put a blend of normal people and convenience store women pacing out unexpected. Literally 2 crossovers from very different genres of but 2 that I absolutely love. Of course I was going to pick it up. Next we have Send Nudes by Sabah Sams. First of all, this is a cute little cover, isn't it? This is a collection of short stories, this one. The page count for this is 210, so slightly longer. When it's short stories, I kind of feel like it doesn't really feel like it matters because I'm kind of branching out through loads of different stories. I think there's 10 of them. So let's read what the blurb says. In 10 dazzling stories, Sabah Sams dives into the world of girlhood and immerses us in its contradictions and complexities. Threading between clubs at closing time, pub toilets, drenched music festivals, and beach holidays, these unforgettable short stories deftly chart the treacherous terrain of growing up, of intense friendships, of ambivalent mothers, of uneasily blended families, and of learning to truly live in your own body. Any short stories is fun, but when it's all about girlhood and growing up and what it's like to be a woman, as well as the fact that it is obviously written with like a British voice, I feel like is great. So can't wait to read this one. Next we have Luster by Raven Lilani. I have heard about this one for so long and people seem to absolutely love it, so I'm gonna have to pick this up very soon. The page count is 227, so slightly longer. Edie is just trying to survive. She's messing up in her dead-end job, and her relationship with Eric, a white, middle-aged archivist in an open marriage, is not uncomplicated. When she visits the suburban home Eric shares with his wife, Edie doesn't think she will be asked to stay or asked to provide advice to their adopted black daughter. Least of all does Edie expect that there she will be given space to do the thing that means the most to her, to paint, to document on canvas her own life, finally. I've just heard really good things, so yeah. Next up, we have Acts of Service by Lillian Fishman. I'll be completely honest with you guys, I soft DNF'd it just because it was a little bit too dark for what I was wanting at the time, but I've heard quite good things about it, and I'm not going to just carry on from where I left off. I'm going to start from the very beginning. The page count on this is 214, so again, you can do this in a couple of sittings, but this follows a bit more of a darker contemporary fiction. I feel like definitely more sexual in that nature. Let's read what the blurb says. Eve has an adoring girlfriend, an impulsive streak, and a secret fear that she's wasting her brief youth with just one person. One evening, she posts some nudes online, which is how she meets Olivia and a charismatic Nathan. Despite Eve's better instincts, the three soon begin a relationship, one that disturbs Eve as much as it enthralls her. In a way that only great fiction can, Acts of Service takes between its teeth the contradictions written all over our ideas of sex and sexuality. This was very gritty, and so like I said, I didn't really want that for the time, but I know that I was going to come back to that when I was in a much better mood for it. Next is probably one of my highly anticipated ones out of all of these, but it is Mona by Paula Oleg. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to read the name. I'm just going to show you because I don't want to butcher it. This is also another one that I have heard so many good things about. Let's see, page count, we are looking at 176, I think. Yep, 176. and I have heard so many good reviews about this one. And again, it's a contemporary fiction but with a little bit of like a darker edge to it, and that is just like one of my favorites. Mona wakes and bakes on a Californian campus where she has discovered she is something of an anthropological curiosity, a Latina treasured for the flourish of diversity she brings to her department. When she is nominated for the most important literary award in Europe, Mona sees a chance to escape her sunlit substance abuse and erotic distraction and leaves for a small village in Sweden. Her competitors arrive from all over the world, from Japan, France, Armenia, Iran, and Colombia. And there they do what writers do: exchange flattery, nurse envy and resentment, stab rivals in the back, and go to bed together. But all the while, Mona keeps stumbling across traces of violence in her body, the origins of which she can't or won't remember. It's kind of giving like a Tessa Moshfeg's My Year of Rest and Relaxation vibes, but also like The Secret History vibes. And I don't know, I think this is just like a dark, sad girl, like very autumnal book, but I am just too curious as to what actually goes on in this, that there's enough mystery left by that blurb that I'm like dying to know what actually happens. Already knowing that it's like less than 200 pages, I'm like, how's it all gonna fit into such a short book? This is certainly one that I am so excited to reach for, and I'm gonna have to let you guys know how this goes. Okay, next up we have Sayaka Murata's Earthlings. Now, if you watched the first part of this like short book series, you will know that I recommended Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. I think I must have mentioned how the female main character in that book is a little bit dislikable. She's a little bit odd and quirky, and she's just not like, you know, a girl that you would put into the normal category, if you know what I'm saying, right? Okay, Sayaka Murata then just steps it up a little bit more. She just makes really interesting, fun, weird, quirky books is what I'm getting at, and I am here for that because it's just so entertaining. The primary purpose of reading a Sayaka Murata book for me is because I want to be entertained, because that's what it does. So let's read what the blurb for Earthling says. As a child, Natsuki believed she was an alien, a different species to her Earthling family and classmates. She hoped a spaceship would come down and take her home. Now she lives quietly in an asexual marriage, pretending to be normal. But the buried horrors of Natsuki's past are pursuing her. As she flees the suburbs for the Nagano Mountains and a reunion with her beloved cousin Yu, she wonders, what would it take to escape the Earthlings? Right? Can't wait. The last book I've got here is going back to a bit more of like a wholesome, thought-provoking, like emotional read, I guess, and it is Tuesdays with Mori by Mitch Albom. I have seen so many of the girlies on Bookstagram read this and absolutely go on about how great of a read this is and just how much they actually took away from it. So of course I was gonna hop on that train. I've wanted to read Mitch Albom for a while, and I wanted to read the 5 people you meet in heaven, 7 people you know, the people that you meet in heaven, basically. I have seen more people talk about this at the moment, and so this is what piqued my curiosity. Maybe it was a grandparent, a teacher, or a colleague, someone older, patient and wise, who understood you when you were young and impassioned, helped you to see the world as a more profound place, and gave you sound advice to guide your way through it. For Mitch Albom, it was Maury Schwartz, the college professor who had taught him nearly 20 years before. Perhaps, like Mitch, you lost track of this mentor as the years passed, the insights faded, and the world seemed colder. Wouldn't you like to see that person again, to ask the bigger questions that still haunt you, and receive wisdom for your busy life the way you once did when you were younger? Mitch Albom got that second chance, rediscovering Maury in the last months of the older man's life. Their rekindled relationship turned into one final class, Lessons in How to Live. Tuesdays with Maury is a magical chronicle of their time together. I'm not even joking. Goosebumps. Like, goosebumps. Yeah, I didn't realize that this was like a non-fiction, but here we are. And yeah, I feel like this is going to be such a thought-provoking read, and we need one of those once in a while. So those were the books that I am hoping to read very soon in the short book category. So let's do a quick recap. We have Pizza Girl by Jean Kyung Fraser, Send Nudes by Saba Sams, we have Luster by Raven Lilani, Acts of Service by Lillian Fishman, Mona by Paula Oloisarak. I'm really sorry, I really don't know how to say that. Sayaka Murata's Earthlings, and Mitch Albom's Tuesdays with Maury. Let me know if you read any of those and how you felt. Obviously no spoilers, as I always say. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel, and I will just see you guys next time.